our last deployment, we were at, I want to say it was approximately 179 EKIA for the span of the 8 months that we were there. So no, I never kept track of my kill count, and anybody that does is a psycho to an extent. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Active Green Beret. I wanted to start a new segment that allows you guys the opportunity to ask me whatever questions you want to ask. It can be military related, it can be civilian world related, mental, physical, whatever you could think of. All right, to be part of this segment, just make sure you go to Instagram and just look for the tab that says ask a question. All right, I'm running a story once a week. You get on there, you post the questions, I'll get on there and answer them for you, right? So today we're going to do just that. I'm going to grab my phone, read the questions, and then give you guys an answer, right? With all that said, let's jump right into it. So the first question comes from Garcia. All right, he wants to know any tips for Special Forces assessment and selection. Guys, when it comes to Special Forces assessment and selection, I've beaten that horse to death, right? If you want tips as far as physical, land nav, and also team week, watch some of the previous videos. But what I'll tell you right now is, hey, make sure you show up in shape. You already know what's on the exam, so study. You know you're going to have to do a bunch of physical events, so make sure you show up in shape. Learn how to land nav, and then be a good dude doing team week. Those three things right there are going to help propel you throughout Special Forces assessment and selection. If you have any other question, you could jump on a mentorship call with me, and I'll do my best to steer you in the right direction. So G Blue wants to know good tips to prepare for Ranger School. So when I look at Ranger School, Sapper School, or any of these physically and mentally challenging school, guys, they all require the same thing. You have to be in shape. For Ranger School specifically, make sure you read the Ranger Handbook. You can go to any military store and buy the book and just study it from top to bottom, guys. Learn how to conduct an ambush. Learn how to set up a raid. Learn everything that you're going to have to do at the school, so once you show up, it's that much easier. All right, so I would say make sure you're in good shape, and also 5-paragraph op order, and also learn all the small unit tactics. So Taylor wants to know if I have any advice for a 11 Bravo at his new duty station at JBLM. So advice for a new guy showing up to a brand new unit, 11 Bravo. Maintain your military courtesy. When you're addressing your platoon sergeant, your squad leader, your team leader, give them the proper respect. Stand out parade rest. Yes, sergeant, no, sergeant. When they tell you execute a task, don't bitch and moan, just go execute. That'll go a long way to showing them, hey, this is a good soldier. He's able to follow the simplest command. So that's the first advice I would give you. Just be a good soldier, follow orders. Number 2, be in good shape. When I was in Big Army, there's nothing that I hated more than a guy that would show up and couldn't maintain the basic military standards when it comes to physical fitness. So show up and be able to conduct PT. Be a good runner. Be able to do push-ups. Be able to do pull-ups. Be able to do sit-ups. And you're an 11 Bravo at that. So be able to ruck. As an 11 Bravo, make sure you know your basic 11 Bravo tasks, small unit tactics, all the different battle drills, right? Make sure you know them. If you don't, read that Ranger Handbook before you show up. So that's the advice I would have for you, all right? Let's get to the next question. So the next question, this individual wants to know my thoughts on the 2 fallen Navy SEALs. So I've been following this story pretty closely, guys. It's devastating what happened to these 2 individuals. Whenever American soldiers, airmen, Marines, sailors, Coast Guard, or anybody that serves within the DOD loses their lives, it's always sad. It's horrible what took place. May those guys rest in peace. My heart goes out to the families, right? Hopefully we can learn something from this and ensure that something similar to this does not happen again. This follower wants to know, do you plan to make a book anytime soon, or do I plan on writing a book? So this is something that I've been wondering about, and the more time I spent on social media, on all these different platforms, the more I'm learning on the importance of writing a book. right? It's something that I was against. But now the more research I do, the more I see why it's important. When you have a unique story, kind of like I have, and you are on social media and you're telling everybody's story, it's easy for the right person to hear it and steal it. But whenever you write a book or a manuscript of some sort, that intellectual property protects your story. So now if anybody tries to steal it, you can sue them and make sure that they don't steal your life story. So yes, it is something that I'm thinking about. We'll see if it comes to fruition. Next question. Are you Haitian? Yes, I was born in Haiti, moved to the United States when I was 10, and then got my green card, got my citizenship, went special forces and the whole jazz, right? So yes, I am Haitian. Did you ever keep track of your kill count? If so, how many? Have you ever had to kill a woman or a child? All right, so no, I never kept track of my kill count, and anybody that does is a psycho to an extent. It's easier for snipers to remember their kill count or keep track of it. But if you're a regular dude, an assaulter on a regular team, and you're keeping track of dudes that you've killed, then you need to go get some help, right? Because we're out there doing work and protecting our buddies to our left and to our right. We kill because they need to be killed. It's either them or us. I'm not going around the battlefield keeping track and counting lives as I taken them. All right, that's not something that I did overseas, and that's not something that any of my buddies did. Right, I don't really know anyone that's done that. If you're on a team with somebody and they're one of those dudes that's got a freaking like a tally going, right, every time they go out, then that's something that should be brought to somebody's attention, right? Get that guy to go get some help, because that's not normal. Now, we have kept track of like total EKIA, enemies killed in action, towards the end of the deployment. So every deployment that I've been on, I know exactly how many bad dudes we've killed collectively, but not me specifically. It's hard to gauge that number because rarely do we find ourselves like within 3 to 5 meters with a dude. It's always, hey, 200 to 300 meters away. Like we're engaging, sometime closer. We're exchanging rounds. Where we got the machine gun going, we got sniper rifle going, we got air support dropping. So that's how most of the engagement take place, right? Rarely are we pieing a corner and there's a dude right there, right? That's not the norm. I can honestly say what our last deployment we were at, I want to say it was approximately 179 EKIA for the span of the 8 months that we were there. All right. So to an extent, we keep track of it on the bigger picture level for higher command, but dudes specifically, that's not something that we keep count on. All right. Let's check out the next question. How do different eras of the Green Beret communities interact and relate in and out of service? I would say it hasn't really changed as far as the interaction between the different eras. Because till this day, there's old timers from Vietnam and Desert Storm that are still, hanging out in the VSO centers. They'll do regular meetups and they'll just hang out with each other and just share stories. Now that I'm out, my battle buddies and I, my teammates and I, we have something similar going on to where every Thursday we link up and we just kind of lean on each other, bullshit, see how everybody's doing. So I would say the interaction hasn't changed. The brotherhood is still strong throughout all the different eras, right? So I hope that answered your question. So I would say it really hasn't changed, because the one common thing that all the different eras of Green Berets have is war, whether it was Vietnam, Desert Storm, and now the global war on terrorism. We'll always have that common bond. Next question comes from, can't even pronounce this name, but can a 22-year-old be picked up for SF groups? Asking because I'm always told that maturity is key. All right, so when it comes to being young and going into special operations, yes, a 22-year-old can get picked up, go through selection, go through the Q course, and eventually end up on a special forces team. Now, you got to do your diligence, see what the current 18 X-ray requirements are by speaking to a recruiter, but every 22-year-olds are different. There's guys that have grown up on farms and have had responsibilities throughout their entire lives. So a 22-year-old from the country might be a lot more mature than a 22-year-old that's from New York City, right? So it all depends. The only way you're going to know is by sending it. Go through the process, join up, get the selection, give it 110%, and let the cadres determine if you're mature enough. Do not self-select based on what you've heard. That's not your job. Your job is to show up and perform, and then the cadres will let you know whether or not you meet the cut. All right. I hope that answered your question. Let's check out the next one. Elijah wants to know, can you join special forces with a green card? All right. So no, you can't. You have to be a U.S. citizen to be able to join special forces and become a Green Beret. To operate at the highest level, you got to have a TSSCI. You got to have a top secret clearance. All right. Once you get to a certain level within the SF groups, for example, when I became a team sergeant, I had to go for my TSSCI. I had to get my top secret because that's what the position required. To be able to come into special forces, if you have a green card, like I did when I joined the military initially, I just had a green card. And then 4 or 5 years later, I became a citizen. Then I was able to apply. So if you have a green card now, you can join the military with a green card and then just go through the process of becoming a citizen. It's a lot easier and faster once you're actually in uniform, right? Guys, those are all the questions that we got off of Instagram for this go around. Every Wednesday, I'm going to try to do a Ask a Green Beret session. So if you have any questions, don't put them in the comment section below, guys. Go to Instagram and just ask me those questions on there, and I will get to them, I promise, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed this segment. Until next time, take care of yourselves.